Crossover with your host, Aaron Sutton. Hello and welcome to the Crossover. This is the first episode of what I hope to be many. The format is very freestyle, so if it seems like it's just coming up at that point in time, it probably is. These are going to be short and sweet, shows full of everything and anything NBA related. Before anyone asks why the crossover though, well, other than it being one of the greatest moves on a basketball court, this podcast is named to give a nod and pay homage to one of my favorite players of all time, Allen Iverson. But yeah, it's going to rely a lot on listener feedback and listener interaction, so I really want to encourage you guys to like, share, comment, even just if you have ideas that might be good for me to use in the show. And I could probably try and get some of the listeners onto the show. That's what I plan on doing. I really want to make it kind of like an interactive podcast week to week. Let's get started. So firstly, I would like to talk about Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And I've asked a guest to come and join us to talk about the dynamic duo. So joining us all the way from Brisbane, Vegas, is a longtime friend of mine, Jules. Jules, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate you having me here, bro.
Well, look, I wanted to ask the listeners and yourself, who do you think is better right now, Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook?
Oh, man. It's a tough question, bro.
It is. And look, I know they get really mad that like themselves when the media asks them this question because they're on the same team. But it leaves a question, you know what I mean? Like, whose team is this? You know what I mean? Who's the leader?
I would, see, those are, two different questions, right? Like, you want, just to get it out there, I love Russell Westbrook, more than I like Kevin Durant. It's no lie. I think, all round, I would have to say Russ is a better player. It's just that, the things that, KD got going for him is, obviously, when you're 7 feet tall and you can shoot from anywhere, I think, KD offensive weapon is amazing. If he's really got his defense game unlocked this year, I think then he'd be a better player. It's just that sometimes obviously people said last season that Russ sort of gave up defensively a bit. It was just he was risking a lot of shit a lot of the times, about doing things. So if they can both, I just think they both do things differently. And better, they both do great things in different ways. Yeah. So it's hard for me to choose. I'd probably lean towards Russ, but I think KD is he's still a monster, and offensively he's leaps and bounds probably ahead of Russ. But I just like Russ's overall game.
Yeah, what he brings overall, I get you. See, up until last year, I would have said KD for sure. But then he got injured, and then Westbrook showed us what he can do, all round, right? And then now it's this year starts, KD's healthy, Westbrook's healthy, OKC is looking like a crazy good team, maybe even a team that will beat the champs, you know what I mean? Maybe, but yeah, it's really close to call. I say Kevin Durant is still the leader and the best player on the team, the alpha dog, if you will, but I think it's not much. There's not much in it between him and Westbrook. It's kind of pretty unfair that they're both on the same team. If you ask me, do you know what I mean?
I feel like Russ is the leader of the team. He's people's this Batman and Robin thing, but I think just through Russ's heart and demeanor, he just naturally gravitates to being the alpha dog.
Yeah,
he's out there. You can see the emotion, the thing. Russ, kind of Kevin Durant kind of reminds me sometimes of Tim Duncan. Yeah. Just through demeanor. He's not he's out. Sometimes you'll see him get amped up, but a lot of times, he's just out there dropping buckets, going back. He'll get amped up in big games, but at the same time, Russ is the one that, he's leading the team through example. Sometimes you can say he's trying too hard. Yeah. To do things, but at the same time, where his heart is and what he's actually trying to do.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing that a lot of people that will hate on Westbrook and his game, they don't watch enough to understand that like that concept. You know what I mean? That he's out there giving 110, 20% all the time, right? And they just find ways to pick at him. Do you know what I mean? Like they pick at his shot selection. I'll pick at like how many shots he takes. Do you know what I mean? And like a lot of that time when he was doing that ridiculous triple-double streak last year, people were like, "Look at his shooting percentage." I was like, "Who cares about the shooting percentage? Look at what he's doing game to game." Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's out there. He's grabbing rebounds. Like, you know, people are like, "Oh, you don't pop this ball," but you know, not averaging over like during that stretch. I think he was almost averaging like a triple-double, like for like the closeout of that season, right? And like
close to it.
How you not like how you not passing the ball like they're like 10 assists, man. You know, those are like garbage assists. But I'm like, oh, man.
Like 10 assists is really easy to get in the NBA. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, and once again, alluding back to the preseason, but that dude, who else has triple doubles in the preseason? Russell Westbrook does. Wait, that's who does.
But see, okay, so let's talk a bit about like, okay, what's your prediction for Oklahoma City this year? Like as far as wins, how many wins do you think is reasonable for them to get this year?
Man, I think 55 wins would be low.
You think 55 would be low?
Yeah, I think we're going between 55 to 60, somewhere around there for the wins.
Yeah, cool. And do you think, obviously they're in that window now where if they don't make the playoffs, it's a bust. It's a waste of a season.
Man, the only way they're not making the playoffs is if somebody gets injured. And, you know, touching this wood, that we don't have no more of that shit. Like, what's his name? You know Zach Lowe from Grantland.com?
Yeah.
He had this, like, stat that's, like, even after they traded Harden, if all three of those other guys are healthy, they have never lost a playoff series. Yeah. That's like all three are healthy, they have not lost a playoff series.
All right. I don't know what the new coach is going to be like and stuff, but I think he needs to utilize more making defenses having to choose between who they're going to D up harder out of Westbrook or KD. And then punishing them for that.
You need like your best guys on the court because you can't have like too many years, you know, we've had like just guys on the court that they're like a one-way player. Like they're only out there for defense and people sagging off them, don't care, that sort of thing. Yeah,
like we were talking about Cephalosha before, right? So they used to send Cephalosha to set the screen on Kevin Durant, right? And it was like, why? They know that Cephalosha is not going to do anything. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we know what's happening here.
If he does that screen, then he's the one, like, you know, he's going to like pop out or whatever. But like both defenders are most likely going to like jump in either the pass lane, but just crowd Durant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I had to think of like I try to think of like who would I want like I've always wanted like the best five on the court, and at the moment I'm thinking like I always was like a big proponent of like playing like small ball, to be honest. Like I always liked like when we like back in the day, I wanted like Ibaka basically playing center. Then you got, you know, Durant, your power forward, and then like this was back in the day, so it would be like Harden, Cephalosha, and Westbrook.
Yeah, that was actually, wasn't that the lineup that killed the Spurs, right? When like they'd use the small ball and it was just so fast, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like you're like 3-point range from like everywhere, and then just like it's really good on defense. So like it was sweet. Like I think the only other time you might not have had Cephalosha in, and it was either someone else that could like. Maybe like a Nick Collison or something like that, you know what I mean? Because there was times when I don't think KD wanted to play power forward.
Yeah.
And like it's just something you got to do nowadays. And like with the way things are going, like every other team's doing it. Like it's not going to. Before I think he was more worried about getting like, you know, punished and like fucking back down, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think now, like if you're going up against Golden State, their power forward's going to be like Harrison Barnes, Andre Iguodala most of the time. You know what I mean? Or like when they're playing big, it's going to be like Draymond Green.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right.
The only times like we had trouble was like when it was like a smaller guy defending Durant. But I think he's gotten over that now.
Yeah, well, he should, man. Like if it's a smaller guy, you just shooting over him, right? Like
yeah, like we had like that drama, like when it was like CP3 got him or Tony Allen. I'm like, look, just like get to a spot, and then just like do a fadeaway. There's no way they're gonna bother shot.
Yeah, there's no way they get into that. Let's see. I'll answer this question before I even ask it. Right? So like, this year they're both going to play really well. I'm telling you right now, and they're going to be a really high winning team season, I think. But because Westbrook's strained relationship with the media, Kevin Durant is probably going to be the favorite as an MVP speaker, like as the MVP again. You know what I'm saying? Where Westbrook, I don't think Westbrook's ever going to get that option, like because the way he's perceived in the media, the way they talk to him. Do you know what I mean?
The problem is like I'd love him to be MVP, but it's just not feasible. Like if we're going to have a great season, like what do they say? Like another thing from Zach Lowe, he's like, it's always like basically the best player on the best team.
Yeah.
That'll get like MVP. Like personally, like I liked Todd for MVP last year for all that he had to do, right?
Yeah. Against
Steph Curry. But Steph Curry was the best player on the best team, so it's easy there to go with him.
It is. It's very easy.
So like if like the Thunder like are really good and like even like you got like Russ averaging like like say 25, 8 and 8 sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like or even more than that, someone we're close to another triple double. Or if you want, like, maybe, like, 6 rebounds and, like, 11 assists, something like that. That's a brother can dream. If they did that, and then you got, like, KD averaging, like, 30 points and almost, like, 10 rebounds and, like, 5 assists. Even though, like, I think, like, Russ all around would be doing, like, a lot. Like, you still got KD. Like, there's no way, like, you can out. And I think the other problem is, like, unless that really happens, they kind of cancel each other out for the MVP.
I know exactly what you're saying, but I just feel like, I think people have got the preconceived, like everyone's already talked about this so much that they're like, nah, it's KD's team, he's the best player on the best team, like it's already destined to be that way forever. Do you know what I mean? Like it's unfair to Westbrook in that case. Like one of the favorite things I always hear is with the Thunder, if they win, it's always, man, KD did a good job. Like, good job, KD. If they lose, it's always, man, Westbrook should have done more. Like, do you know what I mean? It's always going to be like that. He's always the villain to the team. And
do you remember that time they beat Golden State with the Westbrook corner 3?
Yeah.
Like, they had the Ibaka missed the shot, Westbrook got the offensive rebound, and then, like, ran to the corner. And then, like, even though, like, he then like faked off Harrison Barnes because then Harrison Barnes like saw like KD was open and like just started running towards him.
Yeah.
And then he spun back around and shot the 3 and won the game.
Yeah.
You probably hear people be like, "Oh man, KD was wide open."
Yeah. Like he can't win. He can't. Like. Hey, anyways, Westbrook, we feel you, man. We feel bad for you. You get a worse rap than you deserve. Easily, right?
Been on this Westbrook train forever. Love him. He's an amazing player, and I'll die happy knowing that he wins the championship.
Well, I think okay, let's talk about the negatives, right? So this year, I think is the close of their window. Like if they get out in the playoffs, like first round in the playoffs, I don't know. I couldn't be certain that they're all staying and they're all going to be happy and be back next year.
Maybe not the happy part, but I do believe KD would come back, even if it is just a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Because with the cap rising, you'd be like crazy to sign anything. Or he could even do that, like the LeBron sort of deal, like the 2 years player option second year.
Yeah. So I think that's going to become the norm.
Yeah, there's no point in like signing long term because right now that the max is about to blow up.
Yeah.
So, like, if he signs for 1 more year, that means he's then, like, aligned with Ibaka and Westbrook's contracts.
Yeah.
So they will all probably end at the same time.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny is everyone's hating on, like, okay, Tristan Thompson got a ridiculous deal. Everyone's like, man, $16 million a season, he's not worth it. But they're not thinking about the fact that it's all changed. Like, the money's changed, right?
Mm.
So that long-term deal that looks like a lot now, by the time that contract's ended, he's not going to be like, because I think I was saying like he gets paid more than Stephen Curry right now. But I'm like, do you know what I mean? By the end of his
deal was like, in retrospect, an amazing deal. But at the time, it was like risky because you're like, this guy's got ankle problems. He's like, he wasn't supposed, like, people didn't think he was going to be that good. Like, he'd show them like flashes, but at the same time, the injuries were just like piling up. But like, now you look at that deal and you're like, whew, what a bargain.
Yeah.
He's like the less paid out of everyone on his team.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got to chip off some money to Under Armour for getting them ankles under control.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I think KD will, like, see, where are you really going to go? Like, and like, I don't think like the cap doesn't like kick in until the year after next.
Yeah.
So there's like, where's really got a better option for you? I mean, like, you're gonna go what? I know like Washington's your home, but what for Bradley Beal and John Wall? I mean, what else they got?
Yeah, well, exactly. And like the other one about the Lakers.
Yeah.
Did you read that one? I was just like, come on, man. Lakers always be chucking out their random things.
I mean, the only reason you might go to like, you wouldn't go to another Western Conference team just because like the West, like if you're going to like bail, you might as well bail for like an Eastern Conference team where like they have a good chance of making it to the finals like every year.
Yeah. So we're both in an agreement that like, you know, OKC is going to have a really big year. And is there anything that the listeners or people that don't follow the Thunder that much, is there anything that they should be looking out for this season?
Well, what's that thing? Like, it wasn't originally my saying, but I kind of agree with it. I saw like one of the, I think, bold predictions as well from the hotspot Grantland. They did say like OKC's bench is going to be much better than everyone like thought about it.
Okay, so you think keep an eye on the bench? Yeah,
like hopefully DJ Augustine now with like Kevin Durant, they will be playing a bit better. You know, Cantor maybe will like really like, oh, maybe he's an overpaid bench guy, but you know, if he can come in the game and, you know, put in like, say what, you know, 15 and 10 and like maybe some improved defense so he's not like the laughing stock of the league. And then, you know, you got your boy Mitch McGarry up in there, you know, these other guys like Dion Waiters, 6th man of the year. So I'm calling it now, bro.
You're calling that now?
Bold predictions, bro.
That's a bold prediction. That is a really bold prediction. Bolder than me. Yeah. All right, man. Look, thanks for having the chat about the Thunder, and you're going to be joining us again later anyway when we go into like the bets of the week. Thank you.
Oh, man, you know that easy money.
So next up, I'd like to talk about the Spurs. I've got another guest coming in all the way from Bris Vegas again. So joining us is Dan McCain. He's the one of the many Spurs fans I know. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I wanted to talk to you about your beloved Spurs and how you feel about the upcoming season. I always say the Spurs need to have a question mark next to their name at the beginning of every season just because of the age issue, but I'm always pleasantly surprised when they do well. How do you feel about the season?
Yeah, they're just a perennial team that's always in the mix to win it, I guess. And this year, you know, they've revamped their roster and they've got LaMarcus Aldridge and, yeah, exciting times.
How are you feeling about David West?
I was very surprised we got him and he actually took a huge pay cut to come here. That was, yeah, I don't think the Spurs were planning on that either.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a step back for him too, you know what I mean? Not starting and all that sort of stuff.
No, well, from what I've seen of him in the preseason, he's a bit like Aaron Baines in the way how physical he is, but yeah, he's a lot more mobile and can shoot a lot more better. Like he's a lot more reliable with a jump shot.
Yeah, he's a little bit more savvy in offense than what Aaron Baines is. When I say pleasant surprise, I mean more like, you know, when you have to explain to your kid that mummy and daddy didn't plan on having another baby, but it just sort of happened and we're very happy anyway. That kind of pleasant surprise, like.
Yeah, they sort of paced themselves for the 82 games and always seem to be in the mix for it.
Yeah, well, that system is ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always talk to you about Pop and his system and the Spurs stuff and how they prolonged Tim Duncan, Manu, and Tony Parker's careers. Like, they do that exceptionally well. I'm surprised other teams haven't sort of mimicked that yet.
I think it's going to start to happen. I've heard LeBron James say in a few interviews that he expects to play 30 minutes or less now, and he wants Kevin Love to, do more while he's resting. So I guess a lot of players are seeing it that, if they can play into their mid-30s and higher, obviously they're going to earn more money and, chance to win more. And, yeah, I guess it's a win-win for them.
Yeah. I feel like they could just go down to, like, good Sammys, right, and pick up rejected basketball players and still build a contender with them. Like, it's just ridiculous what they do. Like, as far as, cultivating that talent.
I think they're pretty choosy on who they take and who they will develop. I think you've got to be a certain mindset to fit in there. They do sort of delve into your life and check you out in your background, and if you don't fit what they think will work in the team, they won't have you.
Yeah, and it's worked well for him, right?
Stephen Jackson sort of did fit for a while, and then, obviously he got too big for his boots and they punted him, and I could never see, a Boogie Cousins playing there ever. I don't think they'd have him.
How do you feel about Tony Parker this season?
He has a lot to prove after last year. He slipped a great deal. He was hurt a bit, but just his performances were woeful. It was painful to watch. We had Corey Parker starting while he was sitting and doing a great job, and then all of a sudden Tony's back in. We're like, where's Corey gone? Why isn't he starting?
But like, out of the three, right? And he's the youngest, and he's slipping the most. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what he picked up some sort of leg injury, so. Usually he's pretty good in the paint. Like, he led the league in field goal percentage, as a point guard.
Yeah.
And, obviously he doesn't have that lift and the zip anymore. It's going to trouble him, but he doesn't need to score for us anymore, so he just needs to distribute and set the players up. And if he can't do that, then I think the Spurs are going to struggle, terribly without a playmaker.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. How do you feel, Patty Mills? Do you think we're going to see we're going to see him come into more of that, like, more minutes? He's going to start taking that role on a bit more?
I'd like to see him do it, but he's more of a microwave player. He just comes on instant offense, and his defense is getting better and better, like full court. But I don't know if he's the playmaker that they need or will fit the team. I look at someone like Kyle Anderson. He's a very good passer and very good playmaker, even though he's a small forward.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, when you're speaking about playmakers, like, it's hard to go past him, like, especially like what he did in college and stuff. And it was a sneaky pickup for the Spurs in the draft that they got him. So maybe this is the year he produces.
Yeah, well, his nickname's Slow-Mo, and physically he's not that gifted. Like, athletically he's a step behind everyone, but just his performances last year in the D League and this year in the Summer League, and that he spent a lot of time on his game and it showed. Yeah. All right, so what's your predictions in the win-loss column for the Spurs this year? What are you thinking? Because they're a new team and there's going to be chemistry issues early, and they are old, so someone's going to get hurt somewhere along the line. I'd say somewhere between 50 and 55 would be pretty good for them.
Okay. Because I was going to say, like, if they click straight away, which they probably won't, but if they did, man, that team is really ready to compete straight away. Like, if they click straight away, I could see them going on a ridiculously long win streak to begin the season. But, I mean, like you said, the age thing, they've always been good for over 500. But with the question mark, I'm probably going to leave them at the 500. I don't want to try and offend any Spurs fans, but I reckon they might hover around that 500 mark for a bit of the season.
The way of the Western Conference is if you don't have a 500-plus average, you're not making the playoffs. And I think for them, anything other than the playoffs this year will be a bust.
How long do you think this transition of having LaMarcus Aldridge in the team is going to take? Do you think it's going to be pretty quick with the veterans, or is it going to take some time?
I'd probably say 20 games if no one gets rested and no one gets hurt. I was just looking at their second team, like the bench players that are going to come on, and it's almost as they're not as good as the starters, but some of them, they're very good. They're very deep.
Is there anything you want the listeners to look out for this season on the Spurs? Anything that someone that doesn't watch the Spurs might not know?
I guess what's got me excited is the progression of Kyle Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he'd be a couple of years away before being part of the rotation and contributing, but it looks like this year he's going to get slotted straight in and he's good to go. So I was just watching some of the players in pre-season and just some of the pick and roll players he did with Marcus Aldridge is, they were pretty sweet.
It looked nice.
Very gifted passer.
Yeah, he's got good court vision. All right, last person we're going to talk about. We've been talking about the Spurs for a really long time. Kawhi Leonard. What do you think we're going to get from him this season?
Hopefully he pushes the 20 points a game barrier and becomes an all-star. I think he's got the ability, and he's definitely the most athletic on that team. And his work ethic's insane. Like he's a gym rat. So, they've paid him the $95 million and made him the man. So
hopefully we see that.
I think he's going to be out to prove a point.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
I know a lot of people sort of bewildered with him winning the Defensive Player of the Year last year after how many games he missed and how slow he started the season. But his defense is kind of highlight reel. His defense starts his offense. So I think a lot of people who pick these teams are watching that.
Yeah.
Like you see Draymond Green get a block and it goes to Curry or whoever, but with Kawhi Leonard, it's steal, block, run the length of the court and dunk on someone.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the most exciting players you have on the team. He sort of doesn't fit the same athletic mold as anyone else on the team too, so it's good. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we finished up?
Big hello to Scott Burner. He loves the Spurs more than I do. He's actually taught me a few things about the Spurs that I didn't know, so he's a good dude.
All right, thanks for joining us, Dan, and I'm sure we'll be speaking to you again soon.
Yeah, looking forward to listening.
All right, it's time for a segment I would like to call the female ref. If anyone else has any other suggestions, let me know. My wife and my daughter Harlan are joining us to talk a little bit of basketball. Harlan doesn't speak at all. She's only 4 weeks old. But my wife is here. Quinn, honey, thanks for joining us.
No problems.
So first of all, I guess I would like to start with the NBA started today. I'm obviously very excited. How do you feel about the season starting today?
Well, it's a different story, isn't it?
It is a little bit different, isn't it?
Well, I know that I've lost you for every NBA game there's going to be playing.
Pretty much every Nets game, for sure.
And every other game.
Yeah, pretty much. But do you like the idea that you're going to have a lot more free time without me being there?
No.
You don't like that?
No.
You love me, you like to be around me all the time.
I like you to be helping out a little bit more.
My wife isn't, what would I say? She's not, she doesn't, it's not that she doesn't have a clue about basketball. She's a fan. She likes Oklahoma Thunder. She used to like the Boston Celtics, but then all the players got traded away. But she's not like, she's kind of like one of those Merriweather fans. Like, she doesn't follow all the time, but she likes to hear how her team's doing and stuff like that. She does have knowledge of some older players. She doesn't know all of the players. She knows the ones that probably in the media the most. She knows most of the players on her own team, the players that she needs to worry about. So I thought it would be fun to ask her some questions, NBA questions, and the like, and see what the female perspective is on some of the situations and some of the topics around the league. I want to talk about Dennis Schroeder. He's this German guy. He is only 22. He's very talented.
Yep.
He plays for the Atlanta Hawks. He's probably like their best young guy that they've got. Like probably has the biggest potential on their team. Their young asset. At the moment, he's clearly the sixth man, so it means he's not a starter, but he's the first one off the bench.
Yep.
The first sub in. They have a starting point guard, Jeff Teague. He's pretty good. Like he would be one of the better point guards in the league already. But Dennis in the preseason pretty much came out and said that he either wants to start or be traded. Because, like we just talked about, players want to build a name for themselves. And the only way they're going to do that is if they have playing time.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much what he asked for. But I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you think being so young, I think it's only his third season.
Yeah.
Do you think he has a right to ask for this? Or is he wrong for him to do so? Like, should he start? Should he be traded? A bit of backstory. They did really well last year. They made it to the playoffs. They did a lot better than what they should have done. And that was with him on the bench.
Yeah.
So this year, a lot of people would expect them to do the same, have a really good run at it and go pretty far with him contributing off the bench like he did last year.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think, sitting on the bench wouldn't be that fun.
No, it wouldn't.
So, I guess if you don't ask, then you're obviously just going to sit on the bench for the rest of the season or called in when you need to be. So I think that it's good for him to ask, but then at the same time, if he doesn't contribute in a way where it's going to help the team, obviously for the first couple of tries that he gets put in, he's not going to get any time after that.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess, from his perspective, it'd be like a make or break situation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you ask for that chance, then you've got to go hard out.
Yeah, you have to produce. But do you think he was right or wrong to give an ultimatum? Either start me or get rid of me. Like, do you think he should have done that? Like, is that the right way to go about it?
Well, it depends because obviously, we don't know that he's been asking before this.
Yeah.
It hasn't been brought to our attention that he's been kind of saying, give me court time, and then they've kind of been like, oh, just wait, you'll get your time. So this might be him saying, give me court time, or else, I'm going somewhere
Like the end of he's had enough.
He's had enough. Yeah, he's had enough asking.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Maybe.
Because obviously, you don't get told the whole story, but when it does come down to it, when it is a make or break situation, it's going to be talked about. So he's probably sick of being on the bench, and he's already asked for more time on the court, but hasn't got it. So he's saying, well, if you don't put me on the court, then I'll find another team to put me on the court so I can show them what I've got.
So as the team, as the Hawks, what should the Hawks do? Should the Hawks say, give him a little bit of a chance at starting, like you're saying, see how he goes, or should they just be like, just get rid of him?
I think they should give him a chance.
Yeah.
Give him a chance to see what he's got, and then and then because that's a make or break for him really. If he doesn't show them what he's got, then he sits on the bench for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So you think?
I guess, can they make him, instead of the first starter off the bench, can he go to the last starter?
Just bury him in the bench. So you're pretty much saying that the Hawks should give him his chance, give him more of a role, see how he goes. If he develops and he produces, then it's a thing. Yep. But if he doesn't, see you later.
Yeah.
Off the team or just buried on the bench?
Buried on the bench.
And that's going to punish him instead of letting him go to another team.
Yeah.
Well, houses. You heard it here first, people. My wife should be running the NBA team. All right, that's all we have for this segment. Honey, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Guys, if you have any questions you would like me to ask my wife, or there's anything you want from the female perspective in relation to the NBA, please leave a comment below and I'll do what I can do for you. All right, guys, that's the end of our first podcast. You might have noticed keyboards clicking and tapping in the background. That's just kind of how it's going to be for a bit. Like I said, it's all pretty much off the cuff, and I'm going to try and I'm going to try and get these out every week. We're going to add a lot more features. We already talked about the bets of the week coming up. So we're just going to try and add a bit more features. But please comment, like, and share the podcast. Subscribe. Ask questions. If there's anything you guys think we should add or don't add or whatever you think, please just let us know. Yeah. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure, and I'll talk to you next week. See ya.
Over there and over there, okay. Ordered up 100 roses, we the best like blase, blase,